Right. I'm going to just try to show the install of this bezel insert onto here. And make sure it's as clean as possible. I really should have rubbing alcohol or something, but it's going to have to do. And what I'm going to do this time, which will be hopefully more successful, is what I've done is I try to put a whole piece of these 3M onto here, which is a pain in the ass because it'll just wrinkle like crazy. Can you see this okay? And angle it slightly. And so this time I think, you know what, you don't need a whole solid piece to put on here. Why don't I just section it into smaller manageable pieces, right? And then just carefully place around, and that'll be that, right? You know, you just need majority of it covered, and I'll hold a bed insert just fine. So with that in mind, first we're gonna lay this stuff on there, and hopefully it'll just come off together like that. I'll put one across the top. I just want to make sure the line that I mark is visible, but I do have my indices, the markers and the chapter ring already all lined up, so I'm good. That line that was on here was mainly because I didn't have the bezel on, so I originally draw a line so that when I was dropping in the chapter ring to line it, I had something in there because I wouldn't have the movement of the dial on the inside to do that before. So that's that. And yeah, see, this is so much easier. And if it's for some reason it's somehow not the right size, not a big deal, right? Because you can just make it fit. So I'm gonna go, I like to apply things evenly, so I'm gonna go the opposite side here and push this in. Make sure that's holding okay. This stuff is pretty sticky, so it shouldn't matter. And I do this, can you guys see? I'm trying not to block you, but you know, I only have so many angles. Let's see, I guess right about there should be about right. I think it's better to place one of these centered as possible, but if you're going to err, I guess put it towards the outer edge, because you might get a peek of it from a steep angle if the tape is too close to the inside of the bezel towards the crystal, right? And that kind of looked kind of shitty. So this, I think, is by far the best method I can think of. You don't have to deal with glues like some people try to. They don't like applying tape onto their bezel to install it, the insert, and with good reason. It is kind of a pain in the ass usually to do such work. But I think this method I have here could be a winner. I gotta reverse my angle here, and yeah, I think this takes out a lot of fear of fucking up the application of this mounting tape, because it is damn tricky to set it as one piece. Once you peel, it can keep, even if you keep the backing on, it does tend to want to twist and curl or whatever. It's just the nature of the material. and the thinness of it, or whatever. And that's, you know, that's no fun. And make this as pleasurable experience as possible. And I think doing it this way certainly relieves the frustration of trying to straighten out that decal that the sticker that you would normally try to wrestle with. Because sometimes it's too tight on the inside, and again, I don't think you want to show the tape. Even if it's very well covered, just from the steep angle, you might just catch it. And I don't know, just if it gets onto the crystal itself, or maybe I might leave some sticky residue on the edge, or might make contact. Who knows? Okay, so that's that. And then we carefully peel this off. Go outside so you don't scrape the crystal. Well, it should just come off. There you go. Just gotta grab the right layer. Like that. Off you go. The tweezers themselves might work, but this is probably better. Nothing finer and sharper than an X-Acto point. So when you do this, if you don't get it right, you might start to split the ends. Is that still in frame? Sorry. You might split the ends, and you might start to get some kind of debris off of this paper material here. I don't like, but I'll use a blower later to try to clean up whatever went into the cracks. But you can get that knife under there deep enough. You don't have to worry about scratching anything, because it's going to all be covered. As long as you don't peel up the tape that you just laid on here, the clear part, that you might be able to see, it should be good. Excuse the noise, I'm at work, and they're cleaning screens back there, I guess. Alright, there you go. Can you see? Very simple. Now, the moment of truth here, alignment. And this has, you want to make sure this was set at the right position. The bezel, obviously, so that yeah, you don't want it to, oh, it was on a half click, and then when you set it and then you really click into place, it's actually a half a click off. That would totally effing suck. So, no secret to this, just eyeball this the best you can. I guess the best thing is obviously to start at the 12. That's sure the eye will always be orientated and tuned to that spot. Slowly press it down to get it kind of in place. Before you commit, just double check how it's going down. Make sure it really is as centered as you can get it. Check all the other indices, right, and make sure that they all seem to look like they're gonna fall right in line and place with the rest of it. Because once it's down, that's it. Alright, I think I'm ready to commit here. Here it goes. a chance to lift it up. I didn't really push it all the way in yet, but I think this should be fine. Alright, I'm doing it. No turning back. I am committed to that. I did not. Didn't bring my blower. Probably clean it out more later. And there you go. Let's just make sure it's set. Try, I guess, pushing evenly. Otherwise, for some reason, if it's a little off, you may, am I still in frame? You may, somehow, if it hasn't completely gripped for whatever reason, maybe there's some residue on the back of this, your insert. It's keeping it from fully sticking 100% at the initially. You might potentially shift it out of alignment at the, after the fact of really trying to commit to this. So that's all you got to do is just push it evenly down and just apply like, you know, this thing is these stickers from 3M. I think they're 3M, right, or Scotch, whatever it is. They are pretty darn good at adhering. Let's see if it does look like it's set all the way down, not one end or side or whatever is lifted up for some reason. It is possible that if you put the tape in too close and it's riding up the inside wall, outer wall of the inside outer wall of the bezel, that you might have tape up there, and that could potentially bunch up basically and keep, you know, the bezel insert from fully getting set down and making full contact, because obviously there's extra material right at that corner where the bezel might be set into within, and if that's the case, that you're kind of shit out of luck, because unless you just out of sheer determination press the hell out of it so that it gets in there as much as possible, and you may squeeze and flatten out that adhesive tape enough so that if you are having some lift anywhere, that it'll at least be reduced, if not completely removed, if you've done it well. So what I'd do is just do a little roundabout visual check to see the spacing, and if there's one side that's higher than the other for some reason, so I'm going to stand up and do this. Now, I just saw a video on someone inserting a ceramic bezel insert, and he cracked it because he applied, after he put it on the bezel, he didn't, you know, he had to snap the bezel back on to the case, and he did something like this, whatever, but it cracked it. And one thing, that the ceramic bezels are curved usually. They're not as flat as the stock aluminum or even one of these stainless steel bezels, which is pretty flat, if you can see. And something off here. It's alright. I don't expect this to be 100% clean. This is a tool watch after all. So why I always put the insert last is, especially, I usually change out the bezel anyways, so while you're popping off to get to the old, even if it is the old insert you're swapping out and keeping the old bezel, you do it last is because when you apply force to the bezel to put it back, I usually use a watch, you know, a crystal press or a case press, because you can use it for that too, for snapback cases, and you use it to apply beside the crystal, the bezel, you know, or rather, yeah, the bezel. Get a wide enough piece, snap it in, and you don't want you know, I knew that that would probably make contact with whatever bezel insert was on top. So you're going to risk cracking a ceramic bezel. It's scratch resistant, but not crack resistant. There is a difference, and that's why actually some people still prefer metal, stainless steel, or aluminum inserts because yeah, they're not as scratch resistant, but at least they won't crack ever. You may get a ding or something, but you know they're usually easy to replace too. And you can get so many bezels these days. It's for replacements. It's not a big deal. But you know, ceramic is cool too if you're careful. You can't smack it against something too hard. You will break it. And even if you weren't doing a ceramic bezel, I think with aluminum or even a stainless steel, who knows? Especially with those crystal presses that don't cost that much, they don't press force evenly. You know, they're slightly on a tilt, and so you got to kind of go around to really slowly to really make sure you know the crystal is set in straight, and that goes with the bezel as well. And again, who knows? You can perhaps forget there's something stuck to it. Why risk it? That's why you can possibly bend, dent, or distort a metal bezel insert while you're trying to reinstall, you know, the bezel itself if it's on there. So that's why I leave the bezel insert last, so I don't have to worry about cracking it when I'm reinstalling the bezel itself onto the watch. And there you go. Beveled on enough, and I think it's about as set and straight as it's gonna be. It's gonna hold. Can you see that? Like it. I was gonna, as I said in the other video, I was gonna originally keep this as like a Pepsi Tuna mod, but it seemed a bit safe. I mean, I like the Pepsi colors of the original 009 bezel insert, but again, it seems somewhat common and safe, and I wanted to do something different that I don't think anyone else will have. Not likely if they really put the effort like I did into modding this piece here like this. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. What was I going to do here? Oh, you can test out the bezel action. Hopefully I am not wrong that this was not aligned. Can you hear that? You can get closer. Yeah, this sounds good. It's kind of dampened too. I have to admit the stock bezel was very stiff. There you go. Back to 12, and I think, as you can see, perfectly aligned. Ta-da! Yay. I think the last thing I'm going to do to call this done is I am going to probably add a little red tip to this second hand, just for an accent. I think that would look pretty nice, and just give a little pop of color so it's right on the dot, and it will tie back into the bezel. Because right now there's nothing red. There used to be red printing on the 009, I think, where it says divers or 200 meters on the bottom, but this is a Stargate 2 dial, and it's all white with a more radiant blue that really pops up very nicely. So yeah, just that one touch of red right at the tip. I think that'd be perfect. I don't want to overdo it with a full, you know, red seconds hand, like from the center out where it's white right now. That it would be okay, but I think that's too much. I kind of want to keep the red part of it subtle. That's just why I made sure that the enamel paint I used on this, that I painted this with, wasn't a bright red or a bright blue. I actually wanted to tone it down, and so it is actually a dark red and a dark blue enamel. And perhaps it's this lighting, but I'm sure if you saw it in person or even in daylight, there will be no trouble registering these colors as blue and red. And I think it's just the right amount. Anyways, Thanks for watching, and I look forward to finishing the rest of this up, hopefully by this weekend. Maybe I can sport it on Monday. Alright, thanks.